Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Meditation and Mindfulness podcast. I'm Rob Zaremba, and today is the full moon. I'd like to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of meditation practice, how to be successful with your meditation practice, and ultimately how to get results from your meditation practice, because otherwise, what are we doing it for? So fundamentals are a very important part of any system. In terms of meditation, some of the fundamentals are the structure. When you structure and schedule your meditation, when you commit to the meditation. So when we're talking about basics, we're talking about fundamentals. These are the things that will never go away. In the beginning, when you're just starting to meditate, I recommend setting up a space that's specifically designed for your meditation practice. The reason why this is important is because when you return to this space every day, you'll feel a sense of returning home. No, you'll feel a sense of that you're building sort of an energy, an aura around your meditation area. Heck, if it's just a meditation cushion in the corner of the room or up against the wall, or maybe it's a chair with a table, and on your wall you've got your Sri Yantra that you look at for the beginning of your meditation or whatever. Or maybe it's, a special room that you have dedicated just for your meditation practice. Whatever it might be, you'll find that when you meditate there daily, you'll build up a certain energy that helps you focus. It helps you meditate. Because you're focusing there on a continual basis, you'll be imprinting that area with a focused energy, with the energy of meditation. And when your meditations are good, and you're putting out all those good vibes, and you're hitting that high frequency of samadhi, when you're getting into that higher state of consciousness, you'll notice that those vibes are also left and imprinted in that area and available for you to, to access. So, absolutely important to have your meditation space, because it's also a good idea to have that space as a way to get away from the world. It's sort of a way to get away from the distractions that you might have in your life. And so, once you've got the meditation space established, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can burn incense if you like, candles if you like, things to decorate it. Maybe there's your favorite meditation-inspired art or Buddhist art if you like that. Or maybe some Japanese Zen designs or calligraphy. Whatever inspires you, you want to set it up. Maybe it's a picture of your spiritual teacher that you have there on the desk to remind you to meditate. And, So, as you're establishing your space, you're then fundamentally needing to establish your meditation time. The time of day that you meditate, I suggest, should be in the morning. When you set it up in the morning routine, you're pretty much guaranteed to follow through. If you put it off for the end of the day, chances are you'll procrastinate and you won't do it. So if you get it out of the way in the morning, then you've gotten it out of the way. And gosh, that's no way to talk about meditation. Getting it out of the way, you should look forward to your meditation. I want to clear up some myths and misconceptions about meditation. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is to not only inspire you and motivate you to meditate and speak on my experience with meditation in order to help people learn how to meditate, stick to meditation, but also to dispel myths and misconceptions that I see out there in the meditation and mindfulness world. And, there are many. So one of them is that, when you sit down to meditate, a lot of people go into an astral travel. They just sort of sit there and talk to themselves, and they never get out of their mental chatter, and they, consider that a good meditation. Meditation is hard work. The reason why I say you need to get it out of the way is it's a workout. It's like, if you're not the type of person to have discipline, you want to set your life up in a schedule for success. And that creates the structure that will give you the discipline to carry out what you need to carry out and to get the results that you want. So when I say get it out of the way in the morning, what I'm really meaning is that we don't necessarily always look forward to meditation. There's a lot at play here, folks. There's a lot going on with us, with you, with me. We're multidimensional beings with multi-life karmas, and we're trying to do a thing here. We're trying to change. We're trying to set forth positive patterns in our life, change the way our mind works, change our lives, ultimately, change the way we feel, change the way we think, change the way we perceive life, enhance it, make ourselves a better version of who we are, how we treat others. Becoming a better version of ourselves is a multi-dimensional effort. We have to take care of our physical body. It's important to work out and exercise a few times a week. It's important to eat well, eat good foods, get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, take care of the physical body, make sure that when you do feel tired and you are run down, that you get the extra sleep. You take a nap here and there. You don't skip your meditation. So you'll find that all the physical factors are extremely important, but then there's all the emotional factors. What kind of feelings do you have? Who are you around? Are they emitting feelings of happiness? So your environment, what do you expose yourself to mentally? We have a diet of not only physical food, but a diet of what we put into our minds, a diet of what we put into our emotional bodies, what we feel. And it's important to keep check on all these dimensions of our being in order to have a successful, disciplined life. Because without that, you're going to eventually hit a wall in how far you can go with your meditation. So your body needs to be healthy. It needs to be pure. And in a world where it's not so pure, in a world where there's a lot of toxins, a lot of chemicals, a lot of pollution, in a world where the food we eat isn't always the best food. Sometimes we have to resort to fast food just due to time and hunger. Sometimes we don't always make the best choices because, heck, we're not quite perfect yet. But we do the best we can. And the fact is that when you meditate, you tend to make better choices. And again, this all returns to why we meditate in the morning, because it's that morning meditation practice that sets up the rest of our day, that sets up the rest of our lives. If we dedicate a simple 20, 30-minute time frame to meditating in the morning, and we fit it into our schedule, we make it part of our routine, and we are disciplined and committed and carry out, no matter how we feel about it, the meditation. As soon as we sit down and get into the meditation, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better when you get up out of that meditation. But there's always going to be a little bit of resistance. Some days you'll feel motivated. Some days you'll feel inspired. But a lot of the days you'll feel resistant. You'll resist wanting to meditate because there's a part of ourselves that doesn't want to change. There's a part of ourselves that's not interested in meditating because it knows that meditation will bring the death of the ego eventually. And it's the reluctance, it's the pessimism, it's the putting off of procrastination. That's the word I was looking for. It's all of that that comes from that side of ourselves, the lazy side of ourselves, the complaining side of ourselves that will say, oh, I just don't want to do it today. But what is that voice? Where is it coming from? Is that the voice that you want guiding your life? Making the choices? Heck no, of course not. And so that's why we have discipline. It's a do or die mentality, folks. You schedule it, it's time to do it, you do it. There's no excuse. Easier said than done. Well, true. And that's why it's not, that's why a lot of people don't have success in meditation. It's this one area. If you could just dedicate and discipline your life to do it every day, you'll be way ahead of the pack, folks. Not that it's a competition. You'll be way ahead of yourself. You know, we are dealing with a finite amount of time here in this body. Not to remind you of this, but you're gonna die one day. The body will die. As sad and inevitable as that is, it's a truth. It's one that we must always keep in the back of our minds because we have time. That's what we're given. We're given time in a body to make the most of it, to work out to the best of our ability what we can work out, how well we can master ourselves, our lives, how much we can help others, how much influence we can have and love the world and the people around us. So how much impact can we have in this little bit of time that we have? And if you don't know yourself, how much impact can you really have on the world? What message are you really sending out to others? So meditation is the cornerstone of our lives for that reason. Because we know that from the meditation practice, we're able to get past the bullshit, the mental chatter that's just clogging up the mind, that's filtering out and preventing us from having that direct experience that we desire, that we yearn for, you know? Life's not about avoiding experience. Even if you're a spiritual person, even if you're a meditator, it's not about avoiding experience. It's about experiencing everything fully, about being present 100% in the moment. And the only way to do that is by practicing, because we're not accustomed to living in the moment. This all harkens back, and all goes back to our conditioning. That which we have accumulated, become, identified with, collected, crystallized, made into our beliefs, etc., etc., is our conditioning from day one, born into a body, impressed by all around us, the impressions that we receive. We're formatted, we're programmed, we're conditioned, we're indoctrinated, and we are schooled. We are put through a myriad of conditioning institutions. Society is a conditioned institution. It's a cult, in that everyone that follows goes along with the pack of society's conditioning, of societal norms, if you will, the official way of doing things. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The script. Life as it is, as it's presented to us here on Earth Plane 101. We're taught by everything around us. We're taught a language. We're taught how to judge. We're taught how to label. We're taught how to know right from wrong. We're taught how to obey the law. We're taught how to obey our parents. We're taught how to communicate. We're taught how to experience life. And these taught ways are what are the conditions of the mind, the filters that you are now suffering, that you are now perceiving through. The methods of the mind, the way that the mind works, the way that your mind works, is merely a product of your environment. It's like a computer, but the computer only acts based on its software. So we upgrade our software every time we meditate. We're restoring our hard drives every time we meditate. We are no different. What operating system are you operating from? Is it outdated? Is it ever changing, ever updating? Is it automatic update setting on? So the world is an operating system. It runs and it upgrades every so often. So we need to upgrade our operating systems. When we're working with a finite amount of time here in a body, the discipline and the dedication and the commitment to your practice of meditation, if this is what you're interested in, becomes extremely important because it's all we have. That moment that we take every day is the foundation. It's the structure that will eventually build itself towards happiness. Happiness is, there's no final definition or meaning. Happiness is to each individual what happiness is, although, usually you feel good when you're happy. Your happiness is usually something that is contagious. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And others will clap their hands along with you when you're happy and you know it. But how can you get happy in a world that's just designed to keep you consuming in a cycle of wake, entertain, consume, and continue, rinse, repeat? How do you get by in a world like this? Dedication, discipline, structure. And if you're a workout person, you know what I mean. You have to schedule your workout time. You have to schedule your meditation time. Because we are creatures of procrastination. We're creatures of habit. So we can build habits. And the more often that you do a thing, the more it becomes a habit. Well, then the less resistance you're going to have to doing it. It's just time to do it. When it's meditation time, you just go through it. You go into it. Now, you don't just go through the motions, although some days it feels like you do. Some days it's more difficult than others. But as long as we are accustomed to and inspired to put out just a little bit of effort, you can have a successful meditation. But it takes a little bit of structure. So you've committed, you're scheduled the meditation. In the morning, you get up, you eat, you have a cup of coffee, you shower, and you sit down to meditate. The meditation fundamentally should have some structure to it. It's like no different than learning a new routine. When you're given a routine to master, when you're given a structure in order to become proficient at, it's much easier to tell your progression. How are you progressing with your attempt? You can kind of have a good gauge that you're getting better at this. This is why I always recommend to time your meditation. If you time your meditation, you'll stick to that time. Otherwise, if you've got that urge to get up in the middle of your meditation and you just can't take it anymore, oh God, I gotta get up. I gotta get out. I gotta go do something. Well, unless you have that timer, unless you're used to and you have the endurance of meditating every day to a specific amount of time, you're going to let yourself off the hook too often. We let ourselves off the hook too often. And this is why structure, discipline, simply using a timer is a great way to make sure that you endure that 15, 20, 30 minute, 45, whatever length of meditation you're doing, that you sit there for that time frame. Now, recently I put out a video on Facebook about the Insight Timer, the downloadable free Insight Timer app I've been using for the past couple months, and I think it's great for the type of meditation that I like to do because it's so structured and because it has a specific pattern of concentration, points. I like to do a single-pointed mind meditation. Usually, lately I've been doing a 25-minute meditation. And with the structure that I do with the meditation, it's simply moving your attention from one point to another in a particular pattern over the 25-minute period. And it goes a little something like this. I use a visual focus device that I have on the wall in front of me. It's called a Sri Yantra. You can look that up on Google. SRIYANTRA if you're new to this. So the Sri Yantra is a visual focus device designed to practice your single-pointed mind concentration. And you simply stare at it with your eyes. There's a geometric design. And in the center of that geometric design, there is a dot. And with your eyes, you simply stare at the dot. I'm staring at the dot right now. And I will use that for the initial part of my meditation to use my vision, which is one of my stronger senses, and it's yours too. We're really good at looking at things. And I just look at that dot, and I try to hold it there like a laser, focused, like it's a sight that I'm staring down, and I'm practicing target practice, and I'm going to shoot my arrow right to the center of that dot. My arrow of awareness. It's a continuous stream that I hold on that center dot. So that's step one in my structured meditation. Then step two, I'll move to focusing my attention, the single-pointed mind attention on my chakras. And I use the chakras, the navel chakra, the heart chakra, and the third eye chakra. And I focus on them in an ascending manner, about 5 to 6 minutes on each chakra. So I'll spend 5 to 6 minutes visual focus on the yantra, step one. Then after 6 minutes is up, I'll do about 6 minutes or so on the navel chakra, holding my attention there, and I'm feeling the spot. Then after 6 minutes, I'll move up to my heart chakra, again, feeling the spot. Not thinking, feeling. And there's a difference. And when you practice the difference, you'll know the difference. It's easy to talk about it. It's easy to talk about doing something like swimming. But until you swim, you don't know what it feels like. You don't know what the sensation is. So the meditation is swimming. So when you do the meditation, you actually feel the chakra. And you try to isolate that feeling to where nothing distracts you from it. Now, lots of things will distract you from it. Your body sensations, your mental thoughts, your desire to get up out of the meditation, your thoughts about what you got to do later, what you did earlier, whatever it might be. Your favorite show's on later, or whatever it is. And you just can't be present. Well, this is where you have to use the strength of your concentration and your willpower to hold your attention on feeling that spot. You hold it still as you can. When the mind wanders off into a distraction, you bring it right back and try to hold it for as long as you can without becoming distracted again. When the distraction starts, you pull it back. And the better you get at it, you won't be as affected by these distractions. You'll kind of notice them out of the corner of your mind, and then you'll be able to hold your attention, your feeling, your concentration will be very, very strong in its ability to hold and feel that spot. Finally, I move up to the third eye chakra and rinse and repeat. Hold my attention there, feeling that spot, not thinking. When thoughts come and go, I simply return back to what I'm supposed to be doing, which is holding my mind. So it's very simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy because our minds are out of shape. It's like having an out of shape body and then trying to exercise. It's not going to be easy at first. You're going to have to develop some strength. You're going to have to develop some ability. You're going to have to endure some heat, some stress, some distraction, and you're going to have to pull it together with your willpower. And when you do this every day, your willpower will become stronger, your mind will become sharper, clearer, and you'll be able to focus on the task at hand, which is exactly what mindfulness practice is. So throughout the day, from your meditation practice, you'll be in a mindful state. You'll be in the moment, you'll be sharp, you'll be clear, and you'll be dedicated and engaged in whatever activity that you're doing. And so, the fundamentals of meditation, folks, very important. So you got to structure, you got to schedule, you have to sit down, you have to dedicate and commit to sitting down every day. And once you get stronger, it does become less difficult. I don't think it ever becomes easy because there are levels and levels upon levels in order to master in your meditation. You know, in the beginning, sometimes it's just hard to master sitting still physically because you'll twitch, you'll itch, you'll want to move your seat around, get more comfortable. Then you'll notice, there's a nervous system, twitches, perhaps muscle twitches, perhaps pain. Then you'll notice that your mental activity just doesn't seem to stop. It's incessant. It's unceasing. It's distracting me. And you'll see that this is the state that you walk around in all the time. So you're simply becoming more aware. Meditation is a process of awakening, of becoming more aware of who you are, of the totality of your full being beyond just the physical body. In your physical body, you've got the 5 senses in order to receive data input from your environment, to reflect back from the environment. You have the sense of touch. You have your eyes, ears, nose, mouth. And so we relate to the 3D realm, the physical realm, through our senses. But in meditation, we seek to go beyond the five senses into the realms of feeling. And feeling is something that we have lost our ability to do. We've become so physical. We've become so sensorial, locked up in the senses, in the nervous system, in the sense of touch. And this is simply due to our focus. We're focusing on pleasure of the senses. And the senses can go all the way up through our neurotransmitters, the senses of dopamine and norepinephrine and noradrenaline and serotonin and all the receptors in the brain that we experience a rush from. Even though this is a more subtle level, this is a physical, sensorial level that most of us are unconsciously stimulating on a regular basis as a way of fulfillment. But in meditation, we go beyond the body into the realm of feeling, which is another dimension. It's the emotional dimension. And in the dimension of emotions, in this dimension of feeling, is where we access. It's like a bridge. It's where we access the multidimensional worlds in this other body. So another side benefit of this particular meditation is that you develop and strengthen your energy body, your emotional body, by focusing on these chakras. You are, in the beginning, clearing, clarifying, and invigorating, kind of reawakening them. It's like when you haven't worked out in a long, long time and you try to, let's say, hit the weights and you haven't used that muscle in a long time. That muscle is not going to respond very well. It's not going to have a lot of sensitivity. It's not going to be able to be as strong as it could be. And the muscle is going to be kind of weak because it's atrophied if you haven't used it in a while. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so, similarly, our energy bodies, our emotional bodies, is a dimension of our being that we haven't used much in this modern society, that we don't focus on. We're not even really taught that it exists.